Welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. It's Tuesday the 25th of July. The HORSCH AgroVation pack, the third pack in the Year 2 Season Pass, so the third DLC, is now out cross-platform. And obviously I'm on PlayStation 5, so on console too. Now, if you don't have the Year 2 Season Pass, it's €9.99, so whatever that converts to wherever you are, so that's the price for the pack. It's 14 items in the pack. I did do a video a while back when we got back from FarmCon, because we got a little bit of access to the work in progress. We had half an hour to record. Now, I'll be honest, I've been setting this up longer than that, so I didn't really put it across how I wanted to. Plus, I didn't know the slot counts, didn't know anything like that, and we didn't have access to the in-depth menus and all that sort of thing. So that's what we're going to be looking at today, kind of a mod review of the pack. I am on the HORSCH AgroVation map as well, but the map tour will be coming later on. So if you've got the Year 2 Season Pass, this is a free download. You get it as part of the Year 2 Season Pack. Now, when I downloaded it and went in the mod hub, downloadable content, it wasn't showing as downloadable content. Straight away I thought, oh, that's a bit of a worry. So what I did was then went into the map menus, the map options, scrolled through the maps, and as I scrolled through with Elm Creek and Silver Run and Oberon and the HORSCH AgroVation map was sat there, so I thought, okay, if the map's there, the mods have got to be. So when you go into whatever map you're going to be playing on, you should be able to go down on the select and deselect mod page. The HORSCH AgroVation pack should be sat there, ready to tick or untick, depending on what you're going to want to do. So whilst it wasn't showing in my downloadable content, it was showing in the map options and in the select and deselect. If you are having any major issues, my only suggestion you would have, your only recourse would be to go onto the Giants forums and message and let them know. If you're on console, there could be an issue with download, so it might not be something Giants can deal with. I'm just kind of putting it out there, because often people message me. I'm not an IT specialist. People say it hasn't downloaded or it has downloaded and I can't find it. That's the only thing I can think of. If you've downloaded it and you can't see it immediately, that's where it could be. So we'll crack on. I've done this. I'm trying to think of the best way. I've done it in order of mulchers, weeders, then cultivators, then planters, then seeders. I could have done it any which way around, but I thought would tackle it that way first. Unfortunately, because I've got this map at the moment, I'm on HORSCH AgroVation, and I set it on 1 day month, so it'd be quicker to speed through to get some crop in the ground for showing the weeders. It jumped and skipped small weeds completely. I have got medium weeds, which is fine because I've got the hoe, which we'll use in a bit. But the larger weeder that we're going to have a look at, it won't remove those. I mean, I'll show you all the options and stuff on it. But for me, it's a big weeder and it's brilliant. The hoe is the more impressive bit of a kit. So, I'm just saying. Now, this pack as well. I know when I put out the work in progress video, this pack, the attention to detail, the little things, the stuff moving, the unfolding and folding animations, the sound effects, it's all, I mean, it's spot on. This is the latest gear from HORSCH, so obviously they want it to look good, as did Giants. So we're going to start off with this. This is the Cultro 9TC. This is a mulcher, 6 slots on console, 8.9 meters wide. Next to that, we've got the Cultro 12DC mulcher, 12 slots and 12.2 meters wide, so 8.9 and 12.2. I'm saying that because we'll look at both of the mulchers together. If we go to the mulchers, scroll out to the end. So 35 grand for the 8.9 meter, which when you look at the rest of the sort of the standard in-game stuff, that puts it standard base game. These are the 2 largest mulchers we've got, and to be fair, a 12.2 meter mulcher, that's pretty handy. Now there are a load of mods and stuff available, there's all sorts of stuff, but if you're just playing base game stuff and you haven't got a lot of mods installed yet, this does help out. So 35 grand, slot count will come down from 6 to 1 on the Cultro 9TC. On this one we've got the option of additional weights, which put them in here. Additional weights, yes or no, and a license plate option on there. If we go to the Cultro 12DC, 78 grand, slot count comes down from 12 to 1, as I said, 12.2 meters wide. We've got the option on this of Trelleborg. I don't think there's an option for changing the tyres. So Trelleborg, Michelin, BKT, Friedrichstein, and back again. Then we've got equipment, design 1, design 2. So you can have tines or ring rollers on this one, whichever you'd rather, for your mulching pleasure. So let's open this up. Lower it down. And as you would hope and expect, it mulches like a good one. 11 miles an hour. Nice animation. Look at that animation over the rollers as well. Very cool indeed. So that's the Cultro 9. Lovely. Then the 12. I went for tines rather than the ring roller. No particular reason. And obviously this kind of mulcher, not going to be so good for doing grape vineyards and olive orchards and that kind of stuff. What I'm liking as well is the animations are different on each one as well. It would have been very straightforward and simple, I guess, to just go, oh yeah, we'll just take the animation of that, slap it on this one, and away you go. Also 11 miles an hour. I always say this, when you look at mods, it's looking at that level of detail to bolt heads and rivets, and I mean, that's meticulously done, isn't it? So that's the two mulchers. Now we move to our weeders. So as I said, I'm going to go with the standard. I said the standard. We've got the Cultro 24 ST weeder. 22 slots, 24.5 metres wide. Because they're both in the same category, we've then got just here, we've got the Transformer 12 VF, which is a hoe. They both come under weeders. 10 slots, 12 metres, so 24.5 metres and 12 metres. This one, as you'll see in a moment, is designed to go between rows of crops like sunflower, corn, you know, anything that grows in rows, anything planted, generally speaking. I mean, it will work taking out medium weeds anywhere, but you'll see on the design in a moment. But we'll go back over to this one, because that's the one we use first. We'll have a look at both of them and their options. Again, really nicely made and detailed. Let's get down to, we'll take that as red. I know I keep saying that. It's just, you know, it's what I do. So, under weeders, there's our Cura 24 ST, 85 grand. Slot count comes down from 22 to 1. We've got the option on this one. Again, no tyre choices within this, but we've got Trelleborg, Michelin, BKT, Friedrichstein, back to Trelleborg again, and license plate option on there. And then the Transformer 12 VF, 95 grand. Slot count on that comes down from 10 to 1. No options at all on that. You get it just like that. So I'll open it up and I'll show you. We'll drive across the crop. It won't, let's say, it won't remove any of the weeds, unfortunately, because they are all medium. But the unfolding on this is brilliant. As I always say, whenever I'm doing any mods, anything where you've got unfolding, you have to stop and appreciate the engineering that goes into that. That somebody's got a problem solved that, or a group of people, you know, that thing of, right, this needs to fold, how is it going to fold, how are we going to get this to open, this close, you know, all the moving parts involved with seeders, planters, cultivators. It's incredible. And again, one of those things we just kind of take for granted. So that was the raising and lowering. Nice sound effects. But if you've got a lot of weeding to do over a big area, now it's not fast. I suppose that's the other thing to say. This what's this? 24.5. I was just going to say, as far as our weeders go, yeah, the Trefler's 15.2. So yeah, that puts it bigger than the Trefler. But I mean, that's what it will do when it's working. When you've got small weeds, and that's the thing about it, you have to be aware of if you're new to the game. If you have got weeds on, which I've avoided for a long time, but in the last few Let's Plays I have been running them. If you've got small weeds, you can use a mechanical weeder, something like this. Just pulls the weeds out. And generally speaking, would you drag this across a crop? Usually not, but in its early growth stages you can get away with it. When your weeds become medium weeds, you need a hoe to remove them. And when they become large, none of that will work and you need to spray. Now that's not to say you can't spray, or if you're using precision farming, use the spot application on all of those stages. So small, medium and large, you can just say, you know what, let's just use liquid herbicide, let's get rid of the lot. So if you don't want to use mechanical options, you can go down that route. But if you're trying to use a weeder that's designed for small weeds on medium weeds, it just won't get rid of them. So we move over then to this one. I even put narrows on the tractor. It makes a change for me, I don't normally. So let's unfold this. So the Transformer 12 VF. You'll notice these spur-shaped weed removal options, which are rather cool. Now, what should happen? Now, it did when I did the work in progress version of this, so we'll see. We drop it down and we start moving. Now, what should happen? Yeah, if I move, you notice I'm moving the tractor, which I probably shouldn't be. While I'm moving the tractor, that bar there, the whole weeder moves either side to try to keep those spurs either side of the plant. So it will get rid of the weeds either side of it, but not hit the plant. So if you go a little bit off, or something goes wrong, or you're at a little bit of an angle, or something's not quite right, so it's adjusting the whole time. Now if you go too far, it will take it an entire row over, as you just saw. But the whole premise behind that being, it will adjust and move itself as it needs to in the field to keep it in the rows. But as you can also see, it's getting rid of all those weeds between the rows as we go. It's a very cool bit of kit. Very cool bit of kit. See if I can line up a little bit better. Let's get a worker going on that one. There we go. It's doing it itself, a little bit of movement. Sets itself in place, and once it's there, it'll probably lock itself out, but it just needs to adjust to get itself where it needs to be. And there we go. Weeds be gone, you dastardly weeds. That's cool. Which I'm assuming, actually, as I'm no expert on this machinery, I'm just looking at the mod pack, is that at the front here, these are sensor units that are looking to see where you are in relation to the rows, and if you start to move, that's what sends a signal to say that you need to adjust a little bit. But yeah, awesome stuff. So that's mulchers, weeder and hoe. Sounds like a group of solicitors, doesn't it? A group of lawyers. Mulchers, weeder and hoe. That's Transformer 12 VF. So, moving on. We have got the Tiger 8 MT, if I've got this the right way around. I hope I have. So we're on to cultivators now. So Tiger 8 MT cultivator. I'm going to do these one at a time now because there's a few in this. This is 11 slots, 7.5 meters wide. Now, as you can see, this is also attached to a front tank. I'll talk about the front tank now as well. This is the Partner 1600 FT front tank. 7 slots, 1,600 litres. That will do seed or fertiliser. As you can see, it's also hooked up, which is rather cool. So This cultivator, when you're running it, you do have the option, we'll have a look at the options in a moment, to run it as just a regular cultivator. It's not a shallow cultivator, it's a standard cultivator, but you can fertilise at the same time with it. So if you set it on fertiliser option, get yourself a front tank and hook it up, you can cultivate and fertilise your ground, do at least one pass of fertiliser, depending again, if you're playing base game, you're going to need 2 fertiliser passes. If you're playing precision farming, then obviously you've got your adjustable automatic application rate, so it will depend on which of those you're running, but that's what it will do. So we go to cultivators. So I'm starting with the Tiger 8 MT. We'll get to the finer in just a moment, but the Tiger 8 MT, so slot count on that was 11, comes down to 1, 7.5 meters wide, 9 miles per hour, requires 440 horsepower. So fertilizer distribution unit, yes or no? So that's what I've got. I've got that on, but you don't have to have it. If you just want the cultivator, just go for the cultivator. And then we've got the option of top ring roller, yes or no. So you can have a ring roller on there as well. Again, you don't have to. So with that attached on the front, let's unfold it. Oh, that pipe work, that's incredible. Now, as you can see, because it's not a shallow cultivator, we are bringing up small stones. You know, I'm seriously considering, as I'm doing this, because the store's just there, of changing my test map, my mod map, for doing mod reviews to this map, you know. I like this a lot. This is a nice flat field right by the store. So there you go. We are cultivating and fertilising at the same time. Got everything, look, all the stuff moving. I know I said that on the work in progress, but I've got a little more kind of detail. I don't feel as rushed and pressured, and you can take a bit of time to really pay attention to that. Very nice indeed. So, that's the Tiger 8 MT. Next, we've got this, the Finer 6 SL. The Finer 6 SL is a shallow cultivator, 11 slots, 6 meters wide, but you do have the option on this to have a seed tower on it as well. So I thought, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. You get it every now and again for cover crop, that kind of stuff. No, 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 no. This turns this shallow cultivator into a direct drill. You've got it's a seeder. Because I thought that's got to be a mistake. That can't be right. And when I checked it and went through the options, when I put the front tank on, that's got seed in it. That will put all of your regular seeder crops into the ground, which is brilliant if you think about it. If we go back to our wrong cultivators, aren't we? Cultivators. There we go, the Finer 6. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, something's gone wrong there. There we go, yeah, so shows on the bottom there. The Finer 6 SL. 25 grand. 6 meters wide, slot count comes down to 1. 220 horsepower required. So seeder unit, yes or no? For 4 grand, you turn your cultivator, shallow cultivator, into a seeder unit. Which, I don't know why that boggled my mind. Now it starts off on design 5. You've got design 6, 7, then to 1. So 1 takes everything off, so you've just got the cultivator. 2, 3, 4, 5, which is where we started, and then you can go a bit further with that. So those are your options on there. You don't have to have the seeder unit on if you don't want to. So I've got another one, the front tanks, which we'll have a look at in a moment actually. And you know what, we should do that now because I should have shown you that already. So that's where you find it. It's under seeders, the Partner 1600 FT, 19,500. Slot count was 7, comes down to 1. It will do seed or fertiliser, as I said already. We've got standard configuration. We can have tyre roller. We can have roll pack packer, or back to standard. Then we've got the option of additional weights. Oh, that's around the back here. So 60 kilo, 120 kilo, 180, 240, 300, 360, or off. So you can have it as a weight. When you've got stuff in it as well, have weight in there, but you can add the additional weight. And then you've got your tyre roller or roll packer as well on there as an option. So our cultivator, it's because I was saying it was a seeder, which it is, which is nuts. L1 and triangle on PlayStation, we can change from our wheat, barley, oat, canola, soybean, sorghum, oilseed radish, grass, or back. I'm going to put it on canola. Now this does fold. A lot of these need to be unfolded to disconnect them. So if you try and disconnect it, like now, if I try to, it will say you need to unfold it. There's no option to detach there, but if you do try and do it, sometimes you just kind of forget and you try and do it. It needs to be unfolded to disconnect it, but also unfolded to run it. Again, level of detail, awesome. And away we go. Shallow cultivating, but also putting canola in the ground. That's a very versatile bit of kit, that. But again, if you just want it for cultivating, just shallow cultivating, go for it. You don't have to seed with it as well. But I like that as an option. 2 bits of kit in one. Just getting started. I do like the way all the pipes and stuff are connected with these. I mean, it's not the first time it's been done, it's not a new thing, but it's just very nice sound on the air on that as well. So, that's the Finer 6SL Shallow Cultivator. Next. We have this brute. This is the Joker 8RT. This is a disc harrow, 17 slots, 8.2 meters wide. Now this does have the option as well, if we go to our disc harrows this way, for some cover crop. This one won't do all the other stuff. It's not, you can't turn this one into a seeder, but you can cover crop with this, so you can do oilseed radish and grass if you want to. 11 miles an hour, slot count will come down to 1, 330 horsepower required. So equipment standard, seeder unit, slurry distributor. So I think if you're running pumped hoses, you can run slurry through it, so you can fertilise while you're cultivating, which is very cool. But then you've got the option for seeder unit and slurry distributor, so you can seed and fertilise, or cover crop should I say, and fertilise or back off. I just went for the standard version, but again, nice to have a few different options on there. So let's start her up, unfold. Shallow cultivating, that's normal, or that's fairly normal for disc harrows. The usually shallow cultivators. 11 miles an hour, it's moving along. Not much else to say about that one really. It does the job, doesn't it? Watch it, watch the fold. There we go. The Joker 8RT. Next, we've got this. We're on to planters, then seeders. So, this is the Maestro 9.75RX planter. 13 slots on console, 6 meters wide. This has got a 630 litre tank capacity on it. I did put a front tank on because I thought, okay, well, only 630 litres, you're going to need to have a front tank on. But when I put a front tank on, it didn't attach a pipe between the two. I mean, you still can. There's nothing to stop you running a front tank on there. It just didn't attach one. This one, I think I said when I did the work in progress video, I love the asymmetrical way this folds and unfolds with more rows that side. So when it does close up, that one sits right in the middle. Again, I'm not sure why that stood out to me. Is that kind of, oh, that's unusual, but it's very cool actually. And the folds unfold of this as well. When this, you'll see in a moment, it's brilliant. So let's go to planters. Now, neither of the planters in this pack are direct drills, so you will need to cultivate first. If I remembered, I think I did remember to do that. So the Maestro 9.75 RX 65 grand slot count will come down from 13 to 1, 170 horsepower required, and it will do your regular crops. So we've got fertilizer distribution unit, yes or no. I think I went with no, but if you go with yes and you put a front tank on, that will allow fertilizing and seeding at the same time. So whilst you can put a front tank on for the fertilizer, your seed will still remain at 630 litres. You could put a seed tank on the front. I'm assuming it would still work. It generally does in-game. So yes or no for the fertilising unit. Then we've got track loosening tines at the front. So when you've driven across and you've put a bit of compaction down, those will loosen that ground up as well then for planting behind it. Ridge markers, yes or no, and then license plate option on there too. So as you can see, directly behind where the tracks are, you've got those track loosening tines. Let's unfold it. So when that unfolds now, those hazard boxes and the license plate are the right way up. Brilliant. There we go. So ridge marker, left, right, or off. I didn't cultivate, did I? I've just realised I forgot to. Lucky I had the Joker 8 RT, isn't it? Really. So I'm gonna test the next one because I'm not sure about that. Anyway, so if we turn it on, drop it down, I'll put it on corn. Away we go. That's interesting because usually, was that only when you've already cultivated? Well, this has been cultivated, but not shallow cultivation. Just curious. As normally when you're doing corn, it leaves lines. That's leaving like just the regular seeding on the ground. Nothing wrong with that, but you know. Fold it back up again. That's the Maestro 9.75 RX. I keep going to say buy, they're all by Giant Software, but it's just force of habit when you do mod reviews. So, next up then, we've got the next Maestro, the Maestro 24.5 SV. 24 slots, 12 metres wide. It's got a few different options. I know this was one of the ones that stood out when I did the work in progress because I love the twin options, but there's a few different options on this. It does sound great as well, and it unfolds great. And you know, now this, like I said, planters aren't generally speaking direct drills. You do get the odd ones. There you go, like the Kinseys that are. So out on the end, it doesn't say it's a direct drill, but anyway. 280,000, 350 horsepower required. Slot count will come down from 24 to 1. This will seed and fertilise. The other one just seeded. So, options on this. We've got a 9,000 litre tank, which is split. You'll see in a moment when we get into the tractor. But we've got Trelleborg with standard, wide or narrow twins. Michelin, I think the rest are just standard and wides. I don't think we've got, it's only the Trelleborgs. Continental, Midas, Bridgestone, back to Trelleborg again. So, yeah, only on the Trelleborgs if you've got the narrow twins, if you want the narrow twin options. So, no other options on there other than that. Jump in, you'll see the split. 2,000 litres of seed to 7,000 litres of fertiliser. Oh no, I did test this already. Just thinking. So I thought, I'm sure this must be, but it's not a direct drill. When I turned it on and drove forward, it put fertiliser onto the ground, but it didn't seed because it couldn't direct drill. That's why there's a little bit less fertiliser in there. It should have been full. So let's start the engine. Unfold this. Track width widens immediately. So track width, the width, you know, axle width. Covers open. Again, the sound effects of all the little latches opening and closing. Brilliant. Let's do this one to cotton. So hear the air on that as well. And then all the row units as well. All the bobbing. There's a little bit of ticking, you can hear that. I'm assuming that's the row units moving. A little bit of a spin of the closing wheels after you finish as well, which is pretty cool. It's a big unit. Very nice. The Maestro 24.5 SV. Next. We're on to our seeders. So, I swapped the order of these last minute. Hope I get this right. We're going to start with the Pronto 3. I'm just going to go from the smallest size up to the biggest. I thought that would make more sense. So the Pronto 3DC. This is 12 slots, 3 meters wide. I love the modern design on this. Again, I might have mentioned that in the work in progress. But this lighting around the back here, the way it sweeps round, reminds me of a harvester. Sam probably said that before as well. Nice design. Now this is a direct drill. You will find it under seeders. We're going to get back to the Taro in a minute. So the Pronto 3 DC, 65 grand, 150 horsepower required. Slot count will come down from 12 to 1. Regular crop types, including your cover crop, oilseed, radish and grass. 11 miles an hour. This one will only take seed, not seed and fertiliser, but we can change the seed tank size. So we've got seeds 2,800 or seeds 4,000 for an extra 3 grand. I mean, that's a massive increase in size, but very cool. There's a fair bit of seeding in that. Then we've got wheel setup standard. Oh yeah, this is the front. We've got small tyre roller at the front, or tyre roller. Just helps to smooth out that seed bed ahead of the seeds going in the ground. If it's not quite there yet, just smooths it, flattens it down. Ridge markers, yes or no. License plate option. So, jump in, start it up. Cover open. 4,000 litres of seed, and let's say these lights. Very cool. And being a direct drill, don't need to worry about anything else. Stubble from the previous crop. Listen to that. Yeah, the air unit on that. All of that, little bit of skittering, bit of jittering there on the back. Very cool. This one, here we go. So that's how fold and unfold. It doesn't. The sides don't fold up. Ridge markers. I didn't show those. Ridge markers. Left, right. If your GPS has failed, if you're not running auto steer or anything like that, and you want to go old school, you've got your ridge markers there if you want to. So that's the Pronto 3 DC. Next, we have the Pronto 6 DC. I keep on saying Pronto 9. The Pronto 6 DC, 23 slots, 6 meters wide, also a direct drill. This one does have options for seed and fertilizer, and there's quite a few different options for extending the seed tank. I think this one was the one that's got a few options on it as well. So, and the seeders, just there, the 6 DC, 106 grand, 200 horsepower required. Slot count will come down from 23 to 1. 11 miles an hour it will run at. So we've got seed 4,000 litre, or with the tank on the front there we can extend that to 4,400. 5,000, increase the tank size, 5,400. Then we can have seed and fertiliser. So seed at 2,000, fertiliser at 3,000. Then we can have seed at 2,400, fertiliser at 3,000, back to 4,000 again. So we have got that option to seed and fertiliser at the same time as well, and then we can have an extension on the seed tank if you want to. But most you can go to is 5,400 on seed, but again 5,400, that's a fair bit of seed. That's going to see you going for quite a while. On the front again we've got a tyre roller, yes or no. You don't have to have that whole tyre roller unit on the front if you don't want it. Then it says row control, yes or no. Now when I put row control on, I think I've gone for row control. I couldn't see any option to like switch them on or off or anything like that. So I'm not quite sure, I'll be honest, what that was. Ridge marker, yes or no. And license plate option on there too. So let's jump onto this one. I'm going to check my options again. So L1, R1. Yeah, as far as row control, I went for the row control option. We'll unfold the seeder first. Like that. Check it again. Ridge markers, left, right, all closed. We can open the cover. R1, so we can unload it. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Unless that's a precision farming thing, or that's for something that maybe it's coming up. That lighting system, or that lighting rig, lighting bar at the back, I like that. That's really stood out to me. Away we go. Unless the row control... I'm thinking whether or not that shuts anything off if you go across a section you've done before. But I mean, we've got that really with seeders already. Precision farming does it. So that's our Pronto 6 DC. Next we have this. This is the Taro 6SL. This is 14 slots, 6 meters wide. So 6 meters wide, the same as the Pronto 6 DC. However, this one is not a direct drill. And this one also doesn't have its own seed capacity. So you would buy this and then you would need a front tank. Hence the front tank, hence the pipe work going between. So it doesn't have its own capacity in its own right. And I say, not a direct drill either. But under seeders, there it is, the Taro 6 just there. 50 grand, 200 horsepower required. Slot count will come down from 14 to 1. If you look, when we hook on there to the left hand side, there's nothing, there's no capacity given there for seed. So that, yeah, there is no seed capacity in this whatsoever. You will need a front tank. It doesn't have to be from the horse pack. It can be, you know, it will probably work with other front tanks, but if you want it to hook up the way it hooks up, you know, with the pack, you probably want to go with it, but like I said, you don't have to. We've got the option of a roll flex packer or a trapezoidal ring roller. Track loosening tines at the front if you want them, yes or no. Seeder unit, design 1 or design 2. Design 1 or go faster, design 2. I think that just splits the towers, so it sections them off. Makes it easier if you get blockages and stuff to find them. That one runs it all from one central tower. I say it makes it easier. With that one, you've got one cover you take off and you can find them all. That one you've got two, but I guess maybe identifying them, repair and stuff, maintenance, maybe. But that's the two options. And there's a license plate on there as well. So with our 1,600 litres of seed in the front, we'll unfold, because this is not a direct drill. This bit I did remember to cultivate. Lower the whole unit down, and away we go, doing its thing, which you would hope it would do. That's the Taro 6SL. I say by giants, by HORSCH first, then by giants. So on to the last of the mods in the pack then. The big boy. This is the Avatar 12.25. Well, I say big boy, it's the same size as the Maestro 24.5, but it's a big bit of kit. So, yeah, the Avatar 12.25 SD. This is a direct drill, 18 slots, 12 metres wide. Again, under seeders, right there on the end, 195,300 horsepower required. Slot count will come down to 1. It'll run at 9 miles an hour. This will do seed and fertiliser. So as you can see, you've got seeds 2,960, fertiliser 3,840. We can do seeds 3,360, fertiliser stays at 3,840. So those two options just adds that little front tank on. So if you want a little bit more seed to your fertiliser, you can. Then we've got the option of Trelleborg, Michelin, Continental, Vredestein, back again. And I think each one of these is just standard and wide. There's no other options. There's no narrow twins or anything like that on this one. And this one's got the same option up here. We've got seeder unit, design 1, 2 split, 1 either side, or quad. So for front and, I say front and rear, it won't be. Well, I suppose it is mid-section, outer sections. So again, 2 tower, 4 tower, like that. So, start it up, unfold, that's a beefy bit of kit on the back of there. Cover open. I like the way that slides. All have got their own little idiosyncrasies. Nice that light bar on the back as well with this one. And then we direct drill. The air sound again, that clicking of all the bits. Oh, sounds brilliant. Sounds brilliant. And that's it. That's the vehicles from the HORSCH AgroVation pack. Pack 3 of the Year 2 Season Pass or DLC in its own right if you want to purchase the DLC. I will be getting onto the map tour as soon as possible. I have to pop back to the hospital today, so I'll fit it in as I can. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.